At school, the boys are talking about which girl will be the winner of this year's school beauty contest. Natsuki is complimented by her classmates, who think she will be the winner in beauty contest. Suddenly Takuma stands up, who easily scares others because of his personality and is nicknamed a demon. Just because of his frightful looks, others stay away from him, which results in his having a phobia of talking to people. However, upon arriving at home, Natsuki and her sisters, Itsuyo and Mutsumi, are living under the same roof as him. Along with 4 other sisters, Misa, Yakumo, Futaba, and Kyukuri, he really wishes they would leave, but he can't find a way to tell them nicely. After dinner, Takuma and Natsuki went to study together, but Takuma tried to find ways to study alone. When his eraser dropped between her legs, he had to go pick it up. This led to an awkward argument with her. His dream is to fulfill his late mother's wish to study hard and become a respectful person. Then Futaba walks in and asks them to buy something from the store, but while walking there, a demon shows up and starts attacking. Natsuki manages to put up a barrier, but cannot hold it much longer. Then Takuma says they can't win the fight, but Natsuki tells Takuma to run away. Suddenly, Natsuki is attacked, but he protects her from the demon's attack, and he is stabbed in the back with glass. Natsuki realizes nothing has changed and performs a ritual with him to become a Valkyrie from Asgard and defeat the demon. It turned out that Valkyries would get stronger as long as they were in love. Takuma recalls when Odin talked to him and entrusted all his daughters to him and make his 9 daughters fall in love with him, so they all became stronger. The next day, Natsuki and the other Valkyries come to school together. Other students admire them for their beauty as they walk. Not far behind them, Takuma made the decision to take a walk by himself and had a gloomy, ominous appearance as he pondered the approaching announcement of the exam results. Later, the exam results were shown at school, and Natsuki and Mutsumi were surprised by how much Itsuyo had on the exam. When Natsuki and Mutsumi looked at their rankings, it turned out that Mutsumi was ranked 30th, while Natsuki was in the lower rank, making her not confident seeing her siblings' scores. While on the school roof, Takuma looks lonely and sad because he is in the last rank. When Natsuki and Mutsumi ask the reason, he replies that his phobia prevents him from focusing on studying during the exam because of the large number of people in his home. Additionally, he finds it difficult to write the answers to each exam question when surrounded by so many people. Takuma is called to the AV room. Suddenly, Itsuyo uses her Valkyrie skill to tie up Takuma, who has taken on the role of student council president, and pursue Takuma to get close to him. She tries to perform a ritual with him, but fails each time. Annoyed, Itsuyo left the room and went to the field to exercise. There, she was surprised to see the demon and realized she was not strong enough to defeat it. Natsuki, Itsuyo, and Mutsumi made a barrier to trap a demon inside. Meanwhile, Natsuki suggested to Itsuyo that she get closer with Takuma and complete the ritual. While she distracts the demon, Itsuyo will assist her in defeating it. Takuma and Itsuyo retried completing the ritual until Itsuyo remembered her father patting her head and noticed Takuma was doing the same. On the field, Natsuki seemed overwhelmed by the demon's attack until Itsuyo finally came with her strength, and they both managed to defeat the monster. In the aftermath, things returned to normal. Natsuki notes something intimate must have happened between Takuma and Itsuyo and hopes he could keep this up and cure his phobia to get better test scores. One of the student council members, Toru, the man with blonde hair who is the servant of the wicked gods, has found out that Takuma is the lover of the Valkyries and intends to attack him at the right time. Mutsumi finished a TV commercial and wanted to go on a date with Takuma, but a fellow customer at the cafe was bragging about meeting Mutsumi, who is an idol. Once he realizes Takuma is sitting behind him, that guy apologizes and jumps out the window. However, everybody else thinks it was Takuma who threw him out. It saddened Mutsumi because Takuma was accused of something he didn't do. Although Takuma is used to this, Mutsumi feels bad for him and is determined to make him happy by providing a beautiful experience. Afterwards, they went to a bookstore while Toru spied on them from afar. He intends to break up their date, but has a better idea. Instead, he unleashes a mini-demon and shouts out that Mutsumi is here. As a result, Mutsumi was spotted by one of her fans. Takuma and Mutsumi left, ran into a narrow hallway, and hid in a locker. While hiding from Mutsumi's fans, she asks Takuma to kiss her so that she can power up and use her wings to fly away. However, their height difference makes it difficult for him to do that. Then Motsumi had the idea of kissing his chest. When the fans start to get suspicious of the closet where Takuma and Motsumi are hiding, her power level suddenly increases and they escape from there and flee to see the sunset. Because of the beautiful sunset, Takuma has fond memories of watching it with her mother. Meanwhile, Toru was finishing eating a meal and was approached by someone to defeat the Valkyrie sisters. But they offered to eat together and wait for the right time to defeat them. Takuma and Motsumi go home after their date is over and are greeted by the other Valkyries because their date has raised her power level. The following day, Takuma took the national exam to repeat his failed final semester exam. Unfortunately, he failed to pass because the exam venue was so crowded that he was scared and unable to answer the questions. Later, Misa wanted to exercise and thought of playing tag, but Takuma still wanted to study instead. He gave in and agreed to play too. While the Valkyrie's sisters drew sticks, whoever had a red stick was it. Futaba took the stick and gave everyone a head start. While the other Valkyries have been hiding in their respective places, Misa, Takuma, and Itsuyo briefly talked about Futaba's castle power. Not long after, Futaba came by, destroying the room's walls. Misa threw Takuma up in the sky and fell on top of Yakumo. The Valkyries worked together to cripple her defenses. Meanwhile, Natsuki tries to think of a strategy, but Futaba finds them. While Yakumo and Natsuki try to fight back, Takuma thinks of hiding in the storeroom, but he hears the voice of Shino from inside as she tells him about some story of a coward. Eventually, it's a lesson to tell him to fight and reach for his goal instead of running away. Suddenly, Natsuki, who lost against Futaba, was thrown out near Takuma, and then Futaba changed her target to him. Takuma was afraid because he saw Futaba's attack on other Valkyries. He thought that he would also be attacked, but it turned out that she gave him an amulet so that he could pass the test, much to his surprise. Later, the Valkyrie sisters were talking about how fun tag was, and that the school festival was coming up soon. At school, Natsuki was asked by her classmates to cover for someone who was sick, to wear a maid outfit, and Toru commented about her speech to the class. Then he thought of an idea involving Takuma and Natsuki. Natsuki tries to serve him, but with both being nervous, the food accidentally spills onto Takuma's clothes. This made the rest of the class jealous for taking Natsuki's attention, who was trying to clean his clothes. Toru then releases something that turns all the jealous guys into attacking demons. A surprised Natsuki begins to suspect that the demon is a messenger of the wicked gods. Then she tried to fight the demon. Takuma, who is now being attacked by several demons, suddenly got up after hearing Natsuki scream at being attacked by demons. He beats the crap out of all of them until they disappear in an instant. From behind the door, Toru saw the chaos and realized that their human form was so weak. On the way home, Natsuki once again chides Takuma for just studying. Until he notes she was cute in the maid outfit. That caught her off guard. Embarrassed, Natsuki runs all the way home, while poor Takuma is left to wonder if he said the wrong thing. On the day of the festival, Takuma arrives at the campus festival with Yakumo and goes to a maid cafe. Natsuki, who became a waitress at the cafe, then delivered a glass of their drink order. When the drink came, Yakumo asked Takuma to drink it from her fingers, and then she saw him do it. Because of that, Natsuki looked increasingly jealous and stopped her as the rest of the Valkyrie sisters arrived at the festival. Meanwhile, Natsuki was speaking to Futaba, and the sisters wanted to be at the campus festival to get closer to Takuma so they could power up their Valkyrie skills. Takuma, Misa, and Kyuri walked into a haunted house. Kyuri got scared by a fishing rod that was holding an eel, and it hid under Misa's clothes. Because of that, she panicked, asking Takuma to take the eel, and he rushed out and let it go in the pond. He is then approached by Toru, who then slices a hole in his gut. A huge demon pops up, and some of the guests are being controlled by the demons. The Valkyrie sisters rush to contain the enemy, but they are puzzled by the fact that Takuma is nowhere to be seen. Soon after, the Valkyries started attacking the demons. Suddenly, Itsuka, one of the Valkyries, came to the aid of the Valkyries and said that Takuma might have been kidnapped. Somewhere, Toru in his demon form has taken him as a hostage and is monitoring the Valkyries, who are overwhelmed by all the demon. As the Valkyrie began to tire, Natsuki was worried about Takuma's condition. Itsuka says that their enemy has not killed Takuma because the shield she made for Takuma is still active. Takuma is weakened and, being pessimistic, believes for the umpteenth time he can't keep his promise. He remembers his promise to his mother and the short conversation with Natsuki about his uselessness. Even if all that was true, he has come to her rescue many times. That is why she will keep continuing to believe in him, because she believes inside his soul resides a sword that is greater than everyone else. This gives Takuma the strength to stand back up, but still Toru pounds him. Then Futaba shows up and Toru tries to speak to her about finding him wounded. She then fights him while seeing through his bluff. Futaba fights Toru and tells Takuma to get to Natsuki. However, Toru used his demon power to cut Takuma in half. As Takuma was cut, a mysterious power awakened called Mistletoe, and it healed Takuma back. Toru was surprised, and Futaba distracted him enough for Takuma to run away. He runs to find help, but his classmates are possessed by demons. They try to attack Takuma, but Mistletoe continues to heal him. At the same time, he remembered his childhood, when he was with his mother in the hospital. It looks like Takuma answered his mother's questions properly and correctly. He meets up with Natsuki to perform a ritual for her Valkyrie powers to be upgraded. In order to power Natsuki up, they must enter this vow love ritual, in which they must embrace without a stitch of clothing and kiss deeply for 5 minutes. Takuma is so worried about being her lover that some magical book pops up. When the other Valkyries were exhausted from fighting Demon, Natsuki came with a new level of power and attacked Demon with her swords. However, Demon actually devoured all the sword's attacks. The only way is to use the Holy Sword. Meanwhile, Toru, who fought Futaba, seemed to be getting overwhelmed. Afterward, he chose to run away and throw 2 arrows, which were immediately caught by Futaba. On the other hand, Natsuki uses the power of the Holy Sword to attack Demon. Her Holy Sword's strength was so powerful that she erased the demon with a single blow. Elsewhere, Toru was approached by the same boy who talked to him at the restaurant and scolded him for not finishing off the Valkyrie sisters. Meanwhile, everyone in the school has awakened, and the festival continues with a beauty contest. Later in the evening, Itsuyo and Mutsumi gave up their right to dance with Takuma, leaving Natsuki the only one left. After the events of the campus festival, Takuma checks up on Futaba and the rest of the Valkyrie sisters. He checks up on them, leading into an awkward conversation with the sisters, until it was Kyuri's turn. She gave Takuma an invention that involved his clothes. However, it overheats, and to avoid taking everyone down with him, Takuma jumps out and explodes by himself. Despite being bandaged all over, now the sisters play doctor with him by treating him to goodies. The next day, Misa made food, and Itsuyo asked her how to have a date. However, both of them haven't had enough experience either. In a flashback, Misa remembers when she was chased by a boar and taking care of their family. Afterwards, Itsuyo explained that her desire to date was aimed at increasing her power level because she felt guilty for not being able to protect the other Valkyries during the school festival. Later, Misa asked Takuma to take care of doing the laundry. After finishing it, Misa grabbed something from the closet, and a small box fell on Takuma. She looked at his head to see if he was hurt, but it led to an awkward situation. Meanwhile, Yakumo and Kyuri wanted to see what was going on with them, while Itsuyo tried to stop them from looking. After finishing up more laundry, Misa gave Natsuki a doll and Takuma a keychain. Finally, Val Love's 1-hour mission together in the room was completed. The next day, Futaba has a package arrive from Odin as Misa and Itsuyo look through it, until Misa found a letter from the Oracle about a demon. Futaba then gathers everyone and asks Natsuki to become a Valkyrie. Shortly after, Natsuki approached Akuma and kissed him. Unfortunately, he couldn't change even after he tried several times. As Futaba told Kyuri about a device that measures their skills, she gave each device to everyone to have. Afterwards, Futaba noticed Yakumo and Mutsumi were lagging behind. Later, Takuma came to one of Mutsumi's photo shoots with Yakumo too. In a flashback, Natsuki told Takuma about Yakumo's power and her sensitive hearing. As they had ice cream together, Takuma was interrupted by a classmate during their ritual, which caused him to fail. Next, Mutsumi walked to her trailer, and another ritual involved her and Takuma doing a photo shoot alone with Yakumo assisting. Until a demon appears on the set of Mutsumi and makes everyone run in fear. Soon after, Itsuka and Futaba tried to fight the demon and seemed to be getting overwhelmed. However, this is enough time for Yakumo and Mutsumi to do the ritual. After successfully leveling their strength, Matsumi and Yakumo transform into Valkyries and fight Demon. They fought the demon, and suddenly, Takuma remembered Misa's suggestion to fight by playing until Demon was exhausted, and then he told Matsumi and Yakumo to do that. However, it turns out that Akuma is too strong and attacks them. After that, an arrow strikes the demon, causing it to explode and injuring the sisters as well. Then, it appears that Takuma is in danger. He remembers what Futaba said about his Einhager reviving ability and being the only one who can heal the sisters. Takuma then used a book, and his power helped them regain their strength and be able to defeat the demon. From a distance, the boy was seen monitoring Takuma and Demon's fight. He realizes that Takuma's strength has not fully awakened. In the aftermath, Natsuki brought Takuma a drink and said that he was cool enough to beat demons. Meanwhile, Yakumo also bought a drink for him which was not given to him. On a train, Natsuki has to perform a ritual. She is a pervert on the train, while Itsuyo becomes the victim, and Takuma plays the man who saves Itsuyo. Natsuki and Itsuyo carry out their mission until the train stops at the station. Takuma then rushes to stop Natsuki from touching Itsuyo, and the ritual was successful. Meanwhile, a boy is buying fish from the store as the people around him have offered him gifts. He went home, and Toru was locked up and hadn't eaten anything in 3 days. Roskva and Princess Skuld show up after arriving in Japan. They give their initial commands to destroy the Valkyries and contain Takuma. Later that evening, Takuma and Natsuki walked down the street and heard a voice coming from the dark alley. She looks further down, but suddenly attacks them. Natsuki protects him, but feels she can die from it all if this persists. The attacker turns out to be Itsuka, who is just testing her. She praises Natsuki for holding out longer and improving. At home, the sisters greet Itsuka back, and she gives Takuma a berate for being a weakling. Afterwards, the bath was cleaned by Futaba, and everyone took a bath, while Takuma performed a ritual with Itsuka and helped scrub their backs. Not long after Val Love's ritual was completed, the ritual was declared successful, and Itsuka increased her level even though her AP value was low due to her weakness being touched by Takuma. Toru, Skuld, and Roskva explored around the city, thinking of an idea to defeat the Valkyrie sisters. However, they are intercepted by Itsuka, thanks to Futaba's foresight. Princess Skuld thinks she is a threat, but before she can order Roskva and Toru to kill her, in a flash, Itsuka takes down Toru and manages to take Roskva hostage. Itsuka asks Princess Skuld to return to Asgard as soon as possible. If she refuses, Itsuka will break her promise to Odin, and she will kill Roskva with her spear. From a distance, the boy monitored their movements through a telescope. When Itsuka was still holding Raska hostage, a demon possessed a boy and walked near her. It caught her by surprise. This distraction allows Princess Skuld to kiss Roskva as she transforms into her battle form and summons multiple demons. After Itsuka successfully evades the demon's attack, Itsuyo shows up and puts an end to the demon's attack. However, Princess Skuld notices her subordinates have also taken a beating and decides to retreat for now. Later, Futaba suggested that everyone get better now that the enemy has a demigoddess. In the meantime, Takuma and Itsuyo had completed a ritual, and everyone was curious to see if her skills had improved. However, it doesn't, and tried doing something else to level up. Afterwards, the sisters talked about what happened when Skuld appeared. They have to be fast since Skuld belongs to the Norn Sisters, elite troops for the malevolent gods who stormed the Grassel Palace a couple of years ago. Takuma then walks into a room and Natsuki hugs him. Futaba told Takuma that Natsuki drank one of Kyori's drink mixes and was drunk. They went to a different room and Natsuki asked him to undress her. Takuma then wanted a book from Natsuki that was under her head. She noticed the book was about a dating guide. Takum is trying to understand his role as a lover better, but unfortunately, he asked the wrong thing if she had a lover back in Asgard and got beaten up. She gets disappointed that he isn't that brave guy who saved her then because she really wanted to confess her feelings to him. Skuld reappears with demons and Futaba is fighting her. Meanwhile, Itsuka escorts Takuma to somewhere. She recalls that she, Futaba, and Misa came up with ideas to defeat Princess Skuld and Roskva, her maid. But Takuma thought of an idea to get to Roskva first, then defeat Skuld. Afterwards, Takuma performed a ritual with Futaba. In the present, Scold and Roskva have summoned demons to break through Futaba's great castle defense. Scold brags about defeating her, especially Takuma, who looks very weak. Even Princess Scold had no idea why someone as weak as Takuma would become the guardian of Valkyrie. Meanwhile, Itsuka and Takuma are scurrying on the ground, trying to find that chance to attack, as Itsuka explains about Futaba's abilities, which in a way make her the weakest to fight against enemies. Takuma feels bad for not being serious enough to help power up the sisters in the first place. Still, Futaba's defense is very strong because she is a disciple of the god of thunder and Asgard. After a while, Futaba seemed tired of fighting Akuma, but with her strong determination, she still held on to protect her Valkyrie. Meanwhile, Shino then uses a barrier to protect people from them. Futaba provokes Scold to attack. When she does, it is perfect timing for Itsuka to separate Scold and Roskva. Her aim is to attack Roskva and seize the power she is feeding Scold. At this point, Takuma, who has been feeling something wrong all the while, realizes that a demon egg is missing. He goes to save Itsuka right before Roskva attacks her. Apparently, the last demon egg was hatching inside her, and the plan was to let Itsuka attack and be devoured by the demon. Takuma is left to carry Itsuka, and he retreats to a park. They performed a ritual, but were interrupted when Scold and Roskva attacked. Both of them evaded the attack, and Itsuka managed to raise her power level. While Takuma then awakens a hidden power to fight against Scold and Roskva. Takuma used his powers to restore everyone's strength, and they overpowered Scold and Roskva. With Itsuka going on the offensive, Natsuki has recovered well enough for this dramatic moment of flying towards Takuma, kissing in midair, and transforming into Valkyrie. Now we have 3 Valkyrie weapons on the battlefield. Scold becomes agitated and transforms into a demon. Natsuki tried to confront Princess Scold with her sword, but couldn't break through her defenses. The Princess Scold goes to attack the barrier and castle walls, so the Valkyrie has no more shields. Now that the fight is made public, a soul-destroying demon tries to devour the public. Soon after, Princess Scold attacked the Valkyrie with a black ball of darkness and was immediately blocked by Takuma. With the power of the book, Takuma managed to break the black shadow of the goddess of darkness, which made Scold and Roskva transform back into being separated. This affects Roskva, who is also weakening due to some illnesses. Itsuka would have no mercy in killing her, but with Takuma's soul worn out as a distraction, Scold takes Roskva to escape. This is just a decoy because the boy and Toru have infiltrated the castle and stole the Misteltein. Toru wants to tear something up to get to the other sisters, but the boy tells him to leave before Itsuka and Futaba appear. He then injured Misa before leaving them. Back home, a weary Takuma is trying his best to heal Misa. However, he cannot feel her soul. Meanwhile, Misa is trapped by some kind of dimension. However, Misa had given up, and suddenly, there was a light seen from Takuma that would save her. Afterward, he brought Misa and asked her to believe in him, who would take her home. Misa returns to life, turning some of her sisters into big crybabies, and thanks Takuma for saving her. Shino then also thanked him, but he was surprised by her looks since she used her normal clothes and didn't have a helmet on. At school, Takuma has gotten better grades as life returns to normal. At the end, Takuma comes home and sees all the Valkyrie wearing bikinis. Surprised to see all his lovers, Takuma said he loved them all. Thank you for watching till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, and peace out.